Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Cristiano Ronaldo will miss Manchester United's clash with Crystal Palace due to a hip injury. Since Ronaldo re-signed for Manchester United, he's scored 24 goals in all competitions. He's got 18 goals in the Premier League. Manchester United re-signed Ronaldo in the summer of last year from Juventus. Ronaldo's contract at Manchester United expires next year. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo is the highest earner at Man United at the moment. He earns £480,000 a week. Ronaldo won't leave Man United this year because obviously he want to play under Erik ten Hag. You know, Ronaldo's already said he wants to stay at Man United and Erik ten Hag wants Cristiano Ronaldo to stay. But I think next year Ronaldo could leave. Ronaldo's won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Earlier on this season, Ronaldo announced that his baby son had passed away, and that was upsetting. Man United have got other players missing for today's game as well. Jadon Sancho, he's still out with illness. Luke Shaw is still injured. Pogba, he's still injured, so he won't be playing today against Crystal Palace. And Phil Jones has recently picked up a knock. And Mason Greenwood is still not available following his suspension by the club. Erik ten Hag will be in attendance for today's game. Not so long ago, Erik ten Hag arrived to start work at Manchester United. Revert back to the other month, it got officially announced that Manchester United appointed Erik ten Hag as their new manager. Erik ten Hag has replaced Rangnick. Erik ten Hag signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Erik ten Hag is Man United's 5th permanent manager since Ferguson. Erik ten Hag's transfer budget has been revealed. He's getting around 170 million. There's a lot of players he wants to bring in. He's also going to get rid of a lot of players. It said 10 players are set to leave Manchester United. Manchester United lost their last game to Brighton and Hove Albion 4-0 at the Amex Stadium. Reflecting on that, it got confirmed that this has been Man United's worst ever Premier League season, and Man United have lost 5 consecutive Premier League away games. Crystal Palace, they recently lost 3-2 to Everton. I do know a lot of the players that Crystal Palace have got, like I mentioned on the preview. Wilfred Zaha, he's the best player Crystal Palace have got. Wilfred Zaha is a former Manchester United player. Don't forget, Wilfred Zaha was Sir Alex Ferguson's last signing. The reason we let Zaha go is because he didn't really get enough opportunities. Christian Benteke, he's a former Aston Villa and Liverpool player. Jordan Ayew, he's a very good attacking player. I think he'll be involved today. Odsonne Edouard, I think Crystal Palace got him from Celtic. Scott Banks, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Crystal Palace also have Conor Gallagher, Will Hughes. Crystal Palace got Will Hughes from Watford. James McArthur, he's out with injury. James Tompkins, he's out with injury. Michael Olise, he's injured at the moment. And Nathan Ferguson, he's out with injury. Crystal Palace also have Joel Ward. Nathaniel Clyne. Nathaniel Clyne is a former Liverpool and Southampton player. A couple of the goalkeepers Crystal Palace have got, they've got Remy Matthews and Jack Butland, and they have another goalkeeper as well. So they are a lot of the players that Crystal Palace do have. Let me put into the equation that Crystal Palace lost Andros Townsend. He went to Everton from Palace. And revert back to 2019, they lost Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You know, Man United got Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So Man United have done transfer business with Crystal Palace before. The Crystal Palace manager is Patrick Vieira. Crystal Palace appointed him in last year. Patrick Vieira has got a contract with Crystal Palace until 2024. You know, when he did get appointed in, he signed a 3-year deal. Before Crystal Palace, Patrick Vieira managed Nice in France, and before managed New York City, and at one point he managed Manchester City's reserve team. Before Patrick Vieira, Crystal Palace had Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson left Crystal Palace at the end of last season, and obviously after that he went to become the Watford manager. It was a 0-0 draw at Selhurst Park last season between Crystal Palace and Man United. Man United did beat Crystal Palace 1-0 at Old Trafford earlier on this season. That was Ralph Rangnick's first game in charge as the interim manager. Ralph Rangnick, you know, he was Man United's interim manager for around 4 months or so. Earlier on this season, it got officially announced that Ralph Rangnick got appointed in as the new manager of Austria. Rangnick signed a 2-year deal. But despite that, he said Ralph Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role at Man United until 2024. Ralph Rangnick did enjoy one transfer window as Man United's interim manager, and unfortunately he didn't get backed in this year's January transfer window. Revert back to earlier on this season, Rangnick made changes because he recommended Ewan Sharpin as an assistant coach and analyst. He also recommended Chris Armisen as an assistant coach, and he recommended Saz Chalenzin as a sports psychologist. Before, Ralph Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. As things stand, Man United have not won a trophy for 5 years. Man United have only won 4 trophies in the last 10 years. The last time Man United won the Premier League was back in 2013. In the last 10 years or so, Man United have spent over £1 billion. We've brought over 40 players in since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And let me put into the equation, Ten Hag is now inheriting these players. You know, none this squad is. Just like none this squad was Rangnick's. Like I say, I hate the way the football club has been run for a long time. We've got to get the Glazers out of the football club because they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. In recent weeks, United fans have been protesting against the Glazers, and I think the protesting will persist until the Glazers are out of the club. The Glazers are still planning to demolish Old Trafford and build a new stadium, should this happen. Man United have played in the same stadium for 112 years. The Glazers have owned Man United for around 17 years. They bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. Earlier on this season, it got officially announced that Matt Judge resigned. Matt Judge was at Man United for around 8 years. But yeah, like I say, Man United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes. And then after that we had Louis van Gaal. We sacked him after like 2 years. We did win the FA Cup under him. And then after that we had Jose Mourinho for around 2.5 years. Then obviously sacked him. Mourinho did enjoy one good season because he won 3 trophies in his first season as the Man United manager, but he weren't that good in his second season. And after Mourinho we had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We sacked Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. Man United sacked Solskjaer in November last year. Solskjaer's final game in charge of Man United was the 4-1 defeat to Watford. The best spell we had under Solskjaer is when Solskjaer was the interim manager, because when he was the interim manager he won nearly every game. So there you go. But like I say, this summer a lot of players are going to depart the club. I'm expecting Dean Henderson to leave. He says Newcastle were on the verge of signing him. But now Dean Henderson to Newcastle won't be happening anytime soon. Henderson is Man United's second choice keeper, doesn't really get in goal. Henderson's only made 3 appearances this season. Lee Grant, I'm expecting him to leave Man United as well this summer. Lee Grant's our 4th choice keeper as a backup. We brought him in under the Jose Mourinho era. Tom Eaton, do you think he could leave this summer? He's our 3rd choice keeper. He's another backup. Man United got Tom Eaton on a free transfer from Aston Villa in the summer of last year. Alex Telles, I reckon that he'll be leaving the football club. He's been poor for the last few months. Telles was our 1st choice left back under Ralph Rangnick. Phil Jones and Eric Bailly, they'll be leaving this year. Jones and Bailly have already told their teammates that they intend on leaving the club. Jones and Bailly are backup centre-halves, they don't really get in the team. We also need to get rid of Harry Maguire. This summer, because Harry Maguire is not good enough to represent the club. A lot of United fans have been demanding for the captaincy to be taken off Maguire, especially throughout the course of this season. Not so long ago, Maguire come back from injury. He's had quite a few injuries since he came to United. Earlier on this season, Maguire received a bomb threat at his home, and reflecting on that, he called the police. Maguire's been at Man United for around 3 years. Man United paid 80 million for him. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, and he's the 2nd most expensive sign at the club behind Pogba. And Wan-Bissaka, I think he'll be leaving this year, because it recently said from Sky Sports and that Wan-Bissaka will be allowed to leave Man United this summer. There's rumours of him going back to Crystal Palace. Atletico Madrid also want him. Wan-Bissaka was not our 1st choice right back under Ralph Rangnick. Defensively, Bissaka's good, but the attacking side of his game is not so good. Man United got Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019, got him for 50 million. Paul Pogba, it's looking very imminent that he's going to be leaving the club this summer. Damasio recently said that Paul Pogba has 100% decided to leave Man United. Paul Pogba has been offered a 3-year contract by his former club Juventus. It's worth €7.5 million a year, but apparently Paul Pogba is demanding €11 million. Sky Sports said earlier on this season that Paul Pogba is likely to move abroad when his contract runs out this summer. Real Madrid, PSG and Juventus are interested. Pogba's rejected a move to Man City. It said Man City were considering signing Paul Pogba on a free from Man United. He said Man City were willing to offer him a 4-year deal. Like I said, Pogba's out with injury at the moment. He's injury prone because he's endured a lot of injuries since he re-signed for Man United. You know, this season has been Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he re-signed. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. He's played over 200 games since he re-signed. Pogba's Man United's most expensive sign at the moment. Man United paid £89 million for him. Nemanja Matic, we know that he's leaving this year because earlier on this season Matic announced he'll be leaving Man United this summer, despite having 12 months on his contract. Matic isn't one of Man United's first choice midfielders, but despite that he's still being given his opportunities. He's the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got at the moment. Matic has been at United for 5 years. Man United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017 for £40 million. Jesse Lingard, I'm expecting him to leave this summer. It said earlier on this season though that Jesse Lingard is resigned to leaving Man United. Lingard is a squad player, doesn't really get in the team, but he has been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy in that. Second half of last season endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham. Martial will get rid of him permanently this year. He's out on loan with Sevilla at the moment. Edison Cavani, he's leaving on a free very soon. Man United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Cavani'd come back from injury not so long ago. Cavani came on in the 4-0 defeat to Brighton. He did score, but the goal got ruled out for offside. Juan Mata. Now, I'm expecting him to leave this summer, but the Manchester Evening News recently said that Juan Mata doesn't rule out staying at Manchester United. This season has been Juan Mata's 9th season at Man United. He's been at the club for around 8 years, so he's been a long-serving player, and I reckon he's had a good career at Man United. Man United got Mata from Chelsea back in 2014, got him for, 37.1 million, it was 40 million with add-ons. Mata is another squad player, doesn't get in the team much, but he's played the last 2 or 3 games, and he could be in contention to start today against Crystal Palace. So there you go, and next year players will leave. We've got quite a lot of players' contracts that do expire next year. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes, on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.